Had a safe weekend. This is the start of a new week. Uh, I have commentary coming out of the UK. As most of you know, Charles III has now become king, and I want to play commentary pertaining to his succession to the throne. This live is going to be, I'll try to keep it brief, but I want to ask you all, how do you feel about the UK, the monarchy, where it stands today? How do you feel about Charles being the king? If you have any feelings at all, everyone's entitled to his or her opinion. There's also commentary where he spoke and he did not get a great receiving, and we're going to talk about that as well. But I'm going to play you part of his speech um, after the passing of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. Thank you all so much for joining me. MSNBC is the source.
Beloved mother was an inspiration, an example to me and to all my family. And we owe her the most heartfelt debt any family could owe to their mother, for her love, affection, guidance, understanding, and example. Queen Elizabeth was a life well lived, a promise with destiny kept, and she is mourned most deeply in her passing. That promise of lifelong service I renew to you all today. Alongside the personal grief that all my family are feeling, we also share with so many of you in the United Kingdom, in all the countries where the Queen was head of state, in the Commonwealth and across the world, a deep sense of gratitude for the more than 70 years in which my mother, as Queen, served the people of so many nations. In 1947, on her 21st birthday, she pledged in a broadcast from Cape Town to the Commonwealth to devote her life, whether it be short or long, to the service of her peoples. That was more than a promise. It was a profound personal commitment which defined her whole life. She made sacrifices for duty. Her dedication and devotion as sovereign never wavered through times of change and progress, through times of joy and celebration, and through times of sadness and loss. In her life of service, we saw that abiding love of tradition, together with that fearless embrace of progress, which makes us great as nations. The affection, admiration, and respect she inspired became the hallmark of her reign. And as every member of my family can testify, she combined these qualities with warmth, humor, and an unerring ability always to see the best in people. I pay tribute to my mother's memory, and I honor her life of service. I know that her death brings great sadness to so many of you, and I share that sense of loss beyond measure with you all. When the Queen came to the throne, Britain and the world were still coping with the privations and aftermath of the Second World War, and still living by the conventions of earlier times. In the course of the last 70 years, we have seen our society become one of many cultures and many faiths. The institutions of the state have changed in turn. But through all changes and challenges, our nation and the wider family of realms, of whose talents, traditions, and achievements I am so inexpressibly proud, have prospered and flourished. Our values have remained and must remain constant. The role and the duties of monarchy also remain, as does the sovereign's particular relationship and responsibility towards the Church of England, the church in which my own faith is so deeply rooted. In that faith and the values it inspires, I have been brought up to cherish a sense of duty to others and to hold in the greatest respect the precious traditions, freedoms, and responsibilities of our unique history and our system of parliamentary government. As the Queen herself did with such unswerving devotion, I too now solemnly pledge myself, throughout the remaining time God grants me, to uphold the constitutional principles at the heart of our nation. And wherever you may live in the United Kingdom, or in the realms and territories across the world, and whatever may be your background or beliefs, I shall endeavor to serve you with loyalty, respect, and love, as I have throughout my life. My life will, of course, change as I take up my new responsibilities. It will no longer be possible for me to give so much of my time and energies to the charities and issues for which I care so deeply. But I know this important work will go on in the trusted hands of others. This is also a time of change for my family. I count on the loving help of my darling wife, Camilla. In recognition of her own loyal public service since our marriage 17 years ago, she becomes my Queen Consort. I know she will bring to the demands of her new role the steadfast devotion to duty on which I have come to rely so much. As my heir, William now assumes the Scottish titles which have meant so much to me. He succeeds me as Duke of Cornwall and takes on the responsibilities for the Duchy of Cornwall, which I have undertaken for more than 5 decades. Today, I am proud to create him Prince of Wales, Tywysog Cymru, the country whose title I've been so greatly privileged to bear during so much of my life and duty. With Catherine beside him, our new Prince and Princess of Wales will, I know, continue to inspire and lead our national conversations, helping to bring the marginal to the centre ground where vital help can be given. I want also to express my love for Harry and Meghan as they continue to build their lives overseas. In a little over a week's time, we will come together as a nation, as a Commonwealth, and indeed a global community, to lay my beloved mother to rest. In our sorrow, let us remember and draw strength from the light of her example. On behalf of all my family, I can only offer the most sincere and heartfelt thanks for your condolences and support. They mean more to me than I can ever possibly express. And to my darling Mama, as you begin your last great journey to join my dear late Papa, I want simply to say this: thank you. Thank you for your love and devotion to our family and to the family of nations you have served so diligently all these years. May flights of angels sing thee to thy rest.
All right, everybody, that's MSNBC. Thank you so much for your time. That is King Charles III speaking after the passing of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. He has now been given a new role as king. You hear in his commentary, he speaks of his mother, saying she thought the best of people. Now, some might beg to differ. When you go back in time, the bad history, the debacle between Charles and the late Princess Diana, one could say, well, you didn't think best of her. You wouldn't have this new wife, perhaps, Camilla, a woman who you cheated with while being in a relationship and married to Princess Diana, which led to Diana divorcing Charles. And it was a while before he chose Camilla as his bride. Then we have the issue with Miss Meghan, African American female, who treaded upon this royal family and dating Mr. Harry and marrying him. She did not feel wanted by the royal family. So one could say in that instance, where was the forethought and less judgment with Meghan? Two different women, same position, two different races. What was the issue with Princess Diana? And what was the issue with Meghan? You have to ask those questions now. It was kind of him to speak of Meghan and Harry. Naturally, someone wrote the speech and told him to say so. But how does he actually feel about his son leaving, going away? And that's what I want to talk about in this live pertaining to Charles being king now, because it's something to address. What is the fate of England and the other countries that he will reign? Would his son, Harry, feel comfortable to try to come back into the folds of this royal family with his wife and children? And how will Charles fare as a king? Because there's commentary I'm going to bring you where he was booed. Very sad for someone to have to be booed by anybody. And yes, I'm going to address that. Do we need kings and queens and princesses in this modern day? And as he spoke in his commentary, things have changed. So we're going to chop up all these said situations. The role he now has taken on, the role that his son, William, and Miss Catherine will have, the role of Miss Camilla as queen consort. How does she feel now that he is finally king? I've put that on my poll on my channel. Please feel free to go to my community board to take the poll pertaining to Camilla. Has she been longing for this day? Naturally, you hear the king speak. He seemed to have great admiration for his late mother, as a man should. But then sometimes it also depends on the relationship you have with your parent. But obviously he had admiration for his mother, and she of him. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $the Ganji, 129 Cash App. All stickers are welcome during this live. I'm going to now go back to my community board with more information pertaining to King Charles. I have to remember to say that now. That was his speech once his mother had passed away. I will now play you commentary where he addresses Parliament. This was uploaded 8 hours ago by MSNBC. It's a very brief video. Thank you for joining me. MSNBC is the source.
and members of the House of Commons, we gather today in remembrance of the remarkable span of the Queen's dedicated service to her nations and peoples. While very young, Her late Majesty pledged herself to serve her country and her people, and to maintain the precious principles of constitutional government which lie at the heart of our nation. This vow she kept with unsurpassed devotion. She set an example of selfless duty, which, with God's help and your counsels, I am resolved faithfully to follow.
King Charles makes his first address to Parliament since taking the throne. We're looking at live pictures now of his motorcade headed to Edinburgh as the remembrance of Queen Elizabeth continues. The new monarch quoted Shakespeare when talking about his late mother, Queen Elizabeth. We'll have more of his comments and all the funeral arrangements just ahead.
MSNBC is the source. Thank you for joining me. That's commentary number 2. There's information, let's see. Let's talk about Edinburgh. Protesters booing the king. NBC is the source. Mercy. My.
From Commonwealth countries that count him as their king, recognizing his rule, lingering doubts put aside for now.
God save the king!
But as he was declared the new monarch in Edinburgh, some heard booing, and a protester held a sign saying, "Not my king." Meanwhile, much of the talk is of his sons, reunited, William and Harry, Kate and Meghan, together in public yesterday for the first time in years. And the public loved it. Tonight, one well-wisher sharing touching words exchanged with Kate, the Princess of Wales, saying her 4-year-old told her, "Mummy, don't worry, the Queen is now with great-grandpa." George, Charlotte and Louis starting a new school just days before they lost their much-loved great-grandmother.
Not ideal to start new schools and everything.
Harry crouching down to talk to children in the crowd. It was like old times. The feeling in William's circle tonight, this was an important show of unity at an incredibly difficult time. Newspaper commentators poring over the pictures. How sad that it took such a tragic event to make it happen.
Exactly.
While another writer worrying, the road to peace is not without its potential potholes. Pointing out, Harry still plans to publish a book. The two couples did not look entirely comfortable, and it's not clear tonight whether Harry and Meghan's children will take royal titles. But one columnist, quoting the Queen, often the small steps bring about the most lasting change.
And Keir joins us now live tonight from London. Keir, you've been covering the royals for so long. What's your sense? Will we see William, Harry, Kate and Meghan together again?
I think it's a real possibility, Tom. The Queen's body will follow a procession from here at Buckingham Palace to Lions State, and the royal family will join that procession. And then, of course, there will be the funeral in just over a week's time.
MSNBC is the source. NBC is the source. Sorry about that. So we have the boys together with their wives. What's their tension? Have they spoken, talked, conversated? Have the ladies talked? One would wonder. You also heard people in the background in Edinburgh booing. Why were they booing? Very sad situation. We're going to get to all of that here shortly. Let me bring up some more commentary. Let's see. This is pertaining to Kate Middleton inheriting the Queen's $110 million jury. It's also been said in commentary that I read earlier that the 300 pieces that the Queen owns are all hers and not the crown's, which I guess that means I don't know. Don't get me the line because I don't know much about the monarchy. But anyway, they're saying that 300 pieces belonged to the late queen, and now she has rewritten her, I guess, will to pass the jury on, and it looks like Kate Middleton is the sole beneficiary of the said pieces. Let's play a little commentary pertaining to the jury. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans.
The late Queen Elizabeth reportedly changed her will right before she passed away, and the changes will benefit Catherine, Princess of Wales. A royal insider says Queen Elizabeth II changed her will right before she passed away. Neither Meghan Markle nor Camilla, the newly crowned queen, were really favored by Queen Elizabeth II. The jewelry collection of the late king, estimated to be worth $110 million, will pass on to Catherine. A crucial distinction is that the 300 personal items belong to the Queen and not the Crown. As per an article in July that she had been concentrating on her prized possessions and who deserved what. The whispers are that she's made some last-minute changes to her will that'll be a shocking surprise for her heirs, sources said. At the age of 96, the Queen passed away on Thursday, September 8th, at Balmoral Castle. Princess of Wales has been pictured for the first time since the Queen's passed away on an afternoon drive through Windsor, as she reportedly went to pick up her children from school. Catherine was seen today wearing a black jumper, sunglasses and dangling pearl earrings, which are seen as morning jewelry. Catherine has been spotted wearing the 18CT pearl hoops on numerous special occasions, including the first official photographs of Prince George. Though today, it is believed the earrings, by British designer Anoushka Dukas, are a touching tribute to the late Queen Elizabeth II. Wearing pearls during the mourning period, especially at funerals, is a royal tradition dating back to Queen Victoria. Following the passing of her husband Prince Albert, the Queen famously commemorated him by wearing black for 40 years, only accessorizing with either black or colorless jewelry, including pearls. According to the Telegraph, the pearls were thought to represent tears, and she wore strands of them for the duration of her life. Since then, pearls have become the traditional choice of mourning jewelry, with Queen Elizabeth II, Princess Diana and Catherine, among others, continuing to wear them to funerals. The Queen was spotted wearing pearls to Princess Diana, Princess Margaret, King George VI and the Queen Mother's funerals over the years. Princess Diana was seen wearing a single strand of pearls at Gianni Versace's funeral in 1997. Last year, at the funeral of Prince Philip, Princess of Wales had chosen to wear the iconic Japanese pearl choker necklace along with Bahrain diamond and pearl drop earrings, all from the Queen's collections. Queen Elizabeth, on the other hand, paid respects to her late husband by wearing her iconic 3-strand pearl necklace with matching earrings. As well as signifying grief, pearls are worn by royal ladies to represent modesty and decorum. The Queen was rarely seen without her signature pearl necklace, and had quite a collection of pearl jewelry, ranging from 3 strands to 6. Pearls are traditional for queens going back 1,000 years. There has never been a queen who didn't wear pearls, Leslie Field, author of The Queen's Jewels, told People. They were rare, beautiful and lustrous, and the more you wear them, the more lustrous they become. Field added, she wants to wear pearls every day as her mother and grandmother did before her. She wouldn't wear a diamond necklace to go to a charity lunch. It is simply traditional that a lady would wear pearls during the day. The Queen's love of pearls began early on in her life and will continue to be passed down through generations of royal women to come.
Thank you for watching videos. If you like our videos.
Thank you so much, everybody, for that content, following that content. Very interesting. As you see, there's been protocols set for hundreds of years pertaining to jewelry, etiquette, clothing, attire. It is said that people would wear black once King passes away. Women wear pearls. But that's the whole thing. We're now in modern day. How long is this going to go on? This king, queen, princess, prince, royalty. Should it continue? Should it go on? Thank you for joining me. And I think it's so interesting that they mentioned Miss Diana in this commentary of what she wore to Versace's funeral. And sadly, the same year, I mean, probably not even a few months later or a month or so later, I can't remember the date, but I remember it was 97 because I had traveled back from Chicago back to Tennessee that both died same summer. Very tragic. To go to a funeral of a friend murdered by a psychotic person, then to end up dying shortly after that person in a car crash in France. Very sad. Thank you for joining me. Well, I'm going to go in and read what's this issue with the Edinburgh booing. Let's see what we can find on that. Then I'll give you my commentary pertaining to the monarchy. Very interesting information. Well, I thought I had it. Maybe not. 1 second. Hope you all are well out there. This is a more somber live, I guess, pertaining to the subject matter. Nothing is acting right today. Yeah, I thought I had it. I guess I didn't save it like I had intended. All right, everybody. I just found something else in here. Someone heckled at Prince Andrew during the Queen's coffin procession in Edinburgh. Must not have been some happy people in Edinburgh. Prince Andrew was heckled as he joined his brother King Charles in a procession behind their mother's coffin. The disgraced Duke of York, who stepped back from his royal duties amid outrage at his relationship with pedophile billionaire Jeffrey Epstein, followed the hearse carrying the Queen's casket as it slowly moved down the Royal Mile in Edinburgh. "Andrew, you're a sick old man," someone in the dense crowd of people shouted as the Duke walked by. Footage posted on social media appears to show outraged mourners pushing the protester into the hands of the police. The officers tackled him to the ground before dragging him away from the metal barriers. Andrew has made few public appearances since settling sex abuse case in New York, but he will be present at events throughout the period of national mourning. He has been barred from wearing his military uniform for the historic procession and service at St. Giles Cathedral, honoring the Queen's life and her connection to Scotland. And they do have pictures I'll show you of the Heckler circled there in the crowd hollering. Wow. Woo, that's sickening. Prince Andrew appeared stone-faced moments after the heckling. Naturally, he's not going to show any emotion. Somber day. Mother has passed away. You can see he's aged quite a bit. Mercy, mercy, mercy. What a mess. Let's see what else they have to say about this situation here. As I said, he's been barred from wearing his military uniform for the historic procession at St. Giles Cathedral. They have pictures of the young man being taken away. Protesters, they said, were pushing the guy toward the police. This is a picture of the guy. Looks very young. Very crazy information. Obviously, he doesn't care for Mr. Andrew. Very sad. The Duke instead wore a black suit for the somber occasion, but he was permitted to wear medals from his time in the Royal Navy. Princess Anne and the Queen's youngest son, Prince Edward, joined Andrew and Charles on foot in full military garb. Police Scotland has since confirmed the 22-year-old man was arrested in connection with a breach of the peace of the Royal Mile. So as you see, they arrest you just for booing and hooing. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. So once again, another photo to show you he was able to wear his other military medals. I believe that's correct. Let me make sure I say that correctly. Yes, when he was in the Royal Navy. Wow, I wanted to pull up this Edinburgh issue because this seems very sad. Here it is. I'm going to see what in the world's going on with these people in Edinburgh. What's the problem? Well, that's the thing about being a human being. You're not going to be liked everywhere. It happens. I'll play that again. For those coming into the chat. This was uploaded yesterday, this content. Well, it's a slow roll here, this uploading article.
God by whom kings and queens do reign to bless his majesty, with long and happy years to reign over us. Given at St. James's Palace on the 10th day of September, and in the year of our Lord 2022.
The Lord Lion, King of Arms, from the Mercat Cross, giving the proclamation to Scotland as the state trumpeters reply with a fanfare, after which he will shout, "God save the King," and a royal salute of 21 guns will be fired from Edinburgh Castle.
God save the King!
As you heard in the beginning, the king was booed. Why? Why? Why would you be booing the king? The Lord Lion King of Arms has just finished reading out the official proclamation of King Charles III when boos began to echo across the Mercat Cross in central Edinburgh. Clamoring erupted among the public as the clerk yelled, "God save the King," prompting what appeared to be male voices to start bellowing against the new king. The protestations were quickly covered up as the national anthem began to be played, with much of attendees to the proclamation joining in by singing. And an anti-monarchy protester appeared moments before the proclamation in Edinburgh. She held a sign which said, F imperialism, abolish the monarchy. Police appeared and then took her away. Moments later, the crowd began to applaud. One man shouted, let her go, it's free speech, while others shouted, have some respect. Interesting. Social media users also noticed the protest with @Effenstone Jack saying, Declaration of God, Save the King, in Edinburgh being booed with an accompanying side-eye emoji. Someone else said, watch some disgusting behavior in Edinburgh after proclamation was read as some folk booed, and after the 3 cheers for King, some folk were booing. Quick play trumpets over the boos. Perhaps after this they'll be rethinking, someone else said, last ghost. The ridiculous idea of making the new king appear in Scotland with Liz Truss. Interesting. The king will be embarking on a tour of the 4 nations over the next week, which sparked speculation the prime minister will be going with him. Number 10 confirmed on Sunday the Prime Minister will be joining the new king on his visits before the Queen's funeral. Ms. Truss will join the king as he leads services of reflection around the United Kingdom, Downing Street is said. The Prime Minister's official spokesman said she would travel with the king to Scotland on Monday, followed by visits to Northern Ireland on Tuesday and Wales on Friday. The Prime Minister believes it is important to be present for what will be a significant moment of national mourning around the United Kingdom, the spokesman said. When you go into these articles and look through Google, you have all types of information that comes up. One article right now has Meghan Markle snubbed by mourner as royals greet people. Kate and William body language, a stark contrast to Meghan and Harry. Just a lot of craziness. Queen's coffin procession marred by ugly scenes as protesters screams abuse at Andrew. What is going to become of this monarchy? Do you all feel like it should exist? I'm 37 minutes in. Thanks for joining me. Do you think it should exist, considering modern day, the issues they've had, putting people up on pedestals? See, that's where many of us would probably feel like, what is the point to it all? We understand history. And most history comes with vile information, vile behavior from human beings. But it's modern day. Is it a necessity, the monarchy? Can they just have a president and or prime minister do their dealings, such as how we have here in stateside a president that does our dealings for the country and dealing with other nations? Is it necessary to have a prime minister, then have a king or queen and entities below the king or queen? Naturally, Camilla has waited for this day. And I talk about her because all of them are relevant. I think back to a long time ago when a young girl courted Charles, and their relationship became front and center of tabloid news. So there was no respect for family, marriage then, let's say. And it's not to say that he and anyone can't change. Of course you can change. But you're representing something that's supposed to be so sacred, this monarchy. And obviously the mother didn't care for Diana for whatever reasons, but yet Diana was the spoken choice. Camilla was not. And that's why I never could understand it. Someone in the comment section said, well, they loved each other. My thing is, and what's your point? He loved Camilla. Then that's who you should have married, day one. But that's my feeling on that. Because one woman felt ousted by these people. She felt like she was looking through the glass. She wasn't a part of this family. She was just a mannequin, Princess Diana. And when she finally found her voice and left, she dies years later, shortly after. I mean, it's pathetic. Short-lived life. To be miserable with somebody, have children with somebody, a third party in your relationship and your marriage. My understanding, he was dating this woman, Camilla, while dating her, and then married her, Diana, and still seeing Camilla. And I believe Camilla was also with someone or married. So you see, dirty dealings. Then he finally gets with Camilla. Years later, probably moaned and groaned to his mother. But then you hear she didn't favor Camilla either. So damn, Queen, Can't hear me, you're gone now. Who did you favor? Who did you think was best for your son? Because a man has to love someone, a woman has to love someone. But in Charles' speech, he says she tried to think the best of people, but we know that's not true. If that change came along, it came very late in life, because this is a woman who's 96 years of age when she passed away. So when did she start seeing the best in people? Let's go to Harry. He loved a woman, happened to be black, part black. People in the UK and other places had a problem with that. Why? It's none of your business. As I told a commenter a while ago, a year or two ago in the comment section, you want to argue about who loves somebody. It's none of your business who he wanted to love. That's the reason why they had so much gossip pertaining to the monarchy in the first place. Meddling people, meddling queen, meddling relatives. People looking for something to spew venom about. You all weren't happy when he had Princess Diana. Let's just keep it real. When Charles was with her, there was no satisfaction. The woman was literally miserable. Comments about her weight. Damn, she had children. It was natural to gain weight. Comments, negative. But then a lot of people favored Diana. The spectators, civilians did, but not in the monarchy. Don't you find that interesting? In her own house, she's in love, but strangers loved her. Now, fast forward. Camilla, probably not the brightest star in the eyes of the civilians. Wasn't the brightest star in the eye of the queen. But yet, this is who Charles wanted to be with. In the end, okay, she's got to be up here with me. I love her. Do you see that all the bias is coming from the monarchy? Not necessarily the public. And then there were people who didn't favor Meghan. I think it's because of her race. But what do you care? Because he's entitled to date whom he wanted to date. And he was a frisky young man. He was more vocal in his behavior than his brother, William, when he was coming here to the States to visit, getting into little rifts of, as I say, his business getting out in the street rather when he was in Vegas. But he was a young man. That's expected. And that's the whole point. You're human first before you are royalty, famous, well off, rich. You're human. And a human being met another human being that happened to be African American. And that's who he chose for his wife. But somewhere down the line, she did not feel comfortable in the royal family. Why is that? What was said and done to her for her not to feel comfortable? So then, boom, they leave, which was a shock to everybody. So then people started questioning his duties and what he would be entitled to financially and the stipend he received and the pay and what they decided to pay back to the family and this and that. And I thought all this because of a black girl. See, this is the point that many of us are making. What is the point to all of this? When people can't live cohesively and choose to live how they want, then that's a problem. But that's the whole point of this royal situation. There are expectations of how you're supposed to act, how you're supposed to live. But look, in the end, people sin. Andrew, he sinned. He was the talk of the town. When he was with Sarah, when they were married, she acted out. She was more vocal. She was a problem. Diana, quiet, very timid. She was a problem for the queen or whomever. Then here comes this black girl. She's a problem. Then there's Camilla, who probably nobody really liked. She's a problem. Because everybody's trying to live up to the expectation of the queen, her husband. Outsiders, the royal court. But in the end, that's not what's going to satisfy you. Walking on eggshells, pretending to be something that you're not having an opinion, not being able to look how you want, dress how you want. That would be a sad way to live. So now the day has come, the queen has passed, and Charles III is now king. And how will he fare as king? He has new duties now. Is he up to par for the duties? He is an older person now. Okay, you got to remember, when he courted Princess Diana, he was older then. This man is old. Is he even up for the job? Because, you know, when you are king, queen, you're expected to go places, do things, speak, visit places. You have to be in physical shape for that, mental shape for that. And now, Prince William, he has more duties, he and Miss Catherine, Prince and Princess of Wales, but they are younger, more agile. And as many of you know, Camilla is queen consort. She has no royal titles, duties, because she is not an actual queen. She just happens to be the spouse of the king. For those that did not know. Basically, she's just a mannequin. Shuffling along for the ride. I do have a problem with Charles. I listen to him speak. He sounds nice enough. But yes, I judge him according to past infractions with Princess Diana. Because that woman suffered so at the hands of this man, Camilla, and others, and the queen. Being judged, being mistreated. And now you have been given the highest honor of being called king. With a second wife in tow that was not favored by many or your mother for the obvious reasons. You're messing around with this woman day one. And then you married a woman that you knew obviously you didn't love because you couldn't be with this one. So Diana paid the price, a heavy price indeed. Self-conscious in her own marriage, her own self. And bore children for a man who didn't love her because he idolized this woman here. And let's be truthful, Camilla is no morning star. She's nothing to look at in my book. And looking at her sit up there on the throne while he's speaking, I just was just still baffled. Like, how did all this come to be? We knew this day would come eventually. The woman lived almost to be 100 years old. She was ripe for the picking, the queen. She lived a long time. Now her son has been handed the baton with his second wife in tow. But I just think it's a farce, most of this. And like I said, we're all entitled to redeem ourselves if indeed we choose to redeem ourselves. Many people don't feel like they owe a person an explanation for their past indiscretions. But you will be judged because that's a part of life. You will be judged. And I believe he's been waiting on the day. Camilla's been waiting on the day more than anybody. I believe that. Because she's been wanting this man from day one. But look at all she had to go through to get him. So you always have to look at the big picture. Was it worth it? To her, it probably was. Lying in the cut, sneaking around, messing with this man, wild, dating this woman, then married the woman, Princess Diana, still messing around with him, tumultuous marriage with children. Finally, she leaves him. You two can just date openly. Why not? You were dating while he was married, dating while he was dating the young lady. Just bold and brazen. Then finally, he chose you as a bride, brought you on. Naturally, the queen was not pleased. But what could she do? It's who he loved. I think it's sick. I think it's sickening. And I don't really feel anything for the monarchy. I think at one time I would have when I was younger. When Princess Diana was in this royal court, but not so much now. And then the way Harry left with Meghan and the awful things I heard, just nasty things said about her from civilians that didn't know her from a can of paint. And obviously she didn't feel comfortable, I think, with Catherine. I think they had some issues. Why they would have issues, I have no idea. And obviously she didn't feel any love from the queen and the husband. Because why would a man leave the monarchy and go to the States to live with his wife? I think it's obvious. He knew he did not want his wife to turn out like his mother. I'm sure that crossed his mind. I didn't get to have my mother into adulthood, teenage life. I've now met a woman I love who just happens to be of a different race. I do not want her to end up the way my mother ended up, feeling alone and depressed and miserable. So he did what he thought was best for him and her. And I think he made the right decision, because I think she would have been utterly disgusted, and he would have became disgusted as well had he stayed in the UK pretending that nothing was going on between his family and Meghan. It would not have worked out. And possibly he would have been also alone without a wife. Sometimes you have to do what's best for you and not what is expected of you. And I wonder if he misses being a part of the royal family, the royal court, the fans, the civilians, the duties. Does Harry miss that? He possibly does, because it's all he knows. Although he was more free in his behavior as being a part of the royal family, he did what he wanted to do, but nonetheless, that is still his family. That is all he knows, but he still made the choice to leave. And I think I believe that was a very noble decision for him to leave. Because like they say, this is a new era now, new day and time, modern thinking, ways of living. What's good for you may not be good, somebody else. And he made that decision. He didn't want to participate. I won't doubt that he didn't miss being there, the luxuries that he was afforded, payments received, monies, gifts, lavish lifestyle. It's not to say that they're not living well now, but you understand. It's all he knows. Thank you, sweetheart. That's why a lot of people stay in the situations they stay in. It's because they become accustomed to the way they live, how they're taught. See, the queen, she probably didn't buckle very much because she's used to everything a certain way. She's an older person. She comes from the old school. So her thinking probably didn't waver much. But you see, others did change. The husband divorced the wife, picked up another wife, his mistress. Something that was definitely taboo in the royal family and probably other cultures as well. You're not thought of very well picking up another wife or husband. Then here comes a son dating someone outside of the Caucasian race. Naturally taboo, but he did it anyway. Do you think this monarchy should stand, or should it dissipate? Should all expectations, history change? Should it change? Should it just be done with? Does the UK and its entities need kings and queens and princesses and princes? Do they need it? Is it valued? I don't know. I don't live over there. I can only speak for living here stateside. And I know that we're in a different time in the world, and the mindset of people is so different. Many people don't have a lot of values, don't have a lot of customs now. People are just free fall now. They just do whatever. Wake up, do whatever. Walk outside in pajamas all day, house shoes in public places. So it's hard for me to even think about kings and queens and princesses, and prince, and castles, and being chauffeured around all day, private schools and things like that. I can't fathom any of that because I don't live in that world. And I'm not trying to judge anybody that lives in that world. It is what it is. You live the way you've been accustomed to. But things do change. We're in a modern world with modern technology, devices. People are more free to be who they want to be, whether it be transgender or wear purple hair, pink hair. You understand what I'm saying? Men dressing as women. It's all the same. We're just in a different era now. So that's why I ask, is it a necessity to have the monarchy? Do the people that live in these entities, the UK, feel the need to keep it going? Can they do without it? Can they live without the monarchy? Does it have any value in the lives of these said people? And it's something to ask, because we don't actually live in those times anymore of tradition. As you heard mentioned briefly in the commentary I played this evening, women, men wearing black, people of the royal court wearing black, civilians wearing black, in mourning of the queen, the women only wearing pearl jewelry. In the world that we live in, people don't even wear black anymore to funerals, if you understand what I'm saying. They wear what they want to wear. They don't even wear dress clothing to funerals. They walking in khakis and jeans and tennis shoes to funerals. It's a free fall now. But today they have protocol in the UK. Lowering the flag. No programs were playing. Sports events were all halted because the Queen had passed away. Something to think about. But nothing stops here in the US. The worst case scenario would be a flag at half-mast, but that's it. Business is going to resume. Stock market is going to resume. People are going to keep things open. Businesses, government offices. Somebody in a high position in the government passes away, they're not going to stop anything going on in the city and towns because somebody passed away. But over there, they did. No work, no play. They even monitored what they could play on TV. But you all didn't know that either. Yes. See? A different way of living abroad than here. Do they need the monarchy? That is my question. How will the king fare in the UK and its other countries where he will now sovereign? Will he be received diplomatically by these said civilians? Does he really want the title? Is he up for holding the title? Because as I said, he's older now. He's an older man. Let me verify this age. 1 second. Thank you all so much for joining me. Excuse the noise in the background. There's work being done. Oh, they want to leave? Okay, thank you, Smart Fry. Thank you so much for that. They may do. Charles III, 73 years of age. Interesting. Born November 14th, 1948. Stands 5 feet, 10 inches. He's married to Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall. Was married once to Princess Diana. He's only married a short while to Diana. Let's see. 1981 to 96. Interesting. So just 15 years and 17 years to Camilla. How about that? Very interesting. But I believe at some point they were separated, he and Diana. So he's an older person now. Yes, he'll be turning 73 in November. So he will be having an upcoming birthday in November. Very interesting information. And how will Miss Camilla feel? I'm sure she's feeling quite high right now. quite high. Before I check out of here, I'm going to play you commentary from a person that many of us know in the entertainment business, his opinion pertaining to King. Very somber. Somber day indeed it is today. Trying to open this up. Oh, slow rolling here with my devices. I guess it's saying, well, it's too pretty of a day to be doing a live. Indeed it is. Very pretty today. I'm going to try to see if I can go somewhere else and find this. For some reason, I can't open it up, what I'm trying to find. Okay, here I go. Well, he should have married her anyway. That's who he wanted to be with. Why not be with who you want to be with? That's how I look at it. All those years of not being each other, sneaking around. What's the point of it? It's crazy. Oh, I want to find that. Let's see. Trying to find. I didn't save this interview. With Pierce speaking. Wow. Let's hear this right here. This is something new I just found. Lord have mercy. What a mess. This is pertaining to Prince Harry. Entertainment Tonight is the source. Prince Harry not allowed to wear a military uniform to Queen's funeral. Wow.
King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla in Scotland, his sons and their wives stunned crowds, reuniting at Windsor for the first time in 2.5 years. It's been reported that while Harry and William were both at Balmoral, they ate dinner separately, didn't interact, and Harry left for Windsor early the next morning. So what brought them together on Saturday? A text. A source tells ET that the Prince of Wales thought it was an important show of unity at an incredibly difficult time for the family. As for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, we're told they plan to remain in the UK for now. There's no word on whether Archie and Lilibet will attend the Queen's funeral. That's been officially set for next Monday the 19th. We're told that while Harry is still unable to wear his military uniform to any event, his uncle Prince Andrew is allowed to be in uniform for the final vigil only. And this was sweet. Her Majesty also famously adored Paddington Bear and his marmalade sandwiches. Well, it seems so many fans began leaving these items in tribute among the flowers that the government has now actually requested they stop the practice, quote, in the interests of sustainability.
Okay. I don't really know why. She didn't really give any information why he can't wear it. Okay. Interesting. So, Andrew was able to wear his from the Royal Navy, but Prince Harry was not. I don't really understand that. Very strange. Okay, I'm looking for this video where Pierce is speaking. He's giving his commentary on Charles. One second, I was trying to find that information. I can't find it. Guess I'll search for it. Let's see. Well, I don't see it. I thought I had saved it to my channel, but I guess not. Why Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's kids could now be prince and princess. Let's talk about that. Let's see what they have to say about that. ET is the source, everybody. One second. Sorry, it's taking. This volume button is having problems here. Well, won't play for some reason. Interesting. Well, oh well. I was wanting to play this video, but it's like it doesn't want to play. Strange. I don't know what's going on. Very strange. I don't know why this content will not play. This is very weird. Very strange. Because I'd like to hear this information myself about the children. Sorry about that. Maybe you all can pull it up yourselves. It's on Entertainment Tonight. It's about the children. Why Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's kids could now be prince and princesses. It says, following Queen Elizabeth's death, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's kids, Archie and Elizabeth, now have a right to hold royal prefixes, prince and princess, due to a 1917 law put in place by King George as the Queen's eldest son takes on the throne as King Charles III. Other titles amongst the royal family are shifting too. Okay. Alrighty. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll also see if they decide they want to come back. How about that? Wonder if he would like to come back, Prince Harry. I do find it interesting. He and his brother didn't spend much time together. If this information is true, why is that? It would be nice if they all could sit down and talk. If there's an issue between the four, they hash it out. Because in the end, they are family. And I understand that sometimes you can't make things work out with your family, no matter if you're wealthy, royalty, whatever. But family is all you have. So if they have any past problems with one another, or the women had problems with each other, whichever, whoever had an issue with whomever, it'd be nice now that they hash it out. Because as they say, it is sad when tragedy is the only reason that people come together and gather, is because they're mourning the death of someone. People shouldn't wait till someone dies to try to make amends and or speak to somebody, because you don't really have a choice, because you're in a tight situation where you put on airs as not to, ruffle feathers and cages. But hopefully, if there are issues, they can work it out. Because now the grandmother is gone. The father is now king. And we will see what happens with all parties involved. But I think now is the time for them to work out their differences. Life's too short. I want to thank you all for joining me in this short live. Give me your comments below this video. Tell me what you think of the monarchy. Do you think it should still stand? Should it still exist? How do you feel about Harry and Meghan possibly going back into the royal family? Him resuming his duties? Or is it kaput that he can't go back into the royal court? Tell me what you think about he and Meghan possibly going back abroad to resume their duties, and how will it work with he and the brother and Catherine, the father, Charles, Miss Camilla, who's now Queen Consort. Is there a chance that Harry can go back, take his wife and children back, and re-enter this royal family, regain some sustenance and respect that he so rightfully deserved, and Meghan as well, and their children, because they are in the bloodline, whether people want to accept it or not, because he married this black woman. But it is what it is. That was his choice. And he knew the ramifications of dating someone outside of his marriage, and just dating someone, period, just from the debacle between his father and his mother, who is no longer living, Princess Diana. There's always going to be somebody that has a problem with something. And we've seen that when they are all of the same race. Same race, with Duchess of York, Sarah, all that mess that went on years ago. And she's just as white as they were. But she was not received well. But you see, she went on and lived her life. And sadly, Princess Diana, she lost her life in trying to find freedom, self-expression, gain her identity. It's very sad. But as I said, this is what happens when expectations are put upon you. And you're trying to live up to those expectations, or you choose not to. Should they go back? How about that? That's another question. Should Harry and Meghan go back? If they go back, will they be received better? Will things change for the better? Would Meghan want to go back? Let's say Harry wants to go back. Maybe she's adamant. I can see why she would be. Because there's nothing like freedom to roam and go where you want, do what you want, without anybody telling you what to do. And nobody's putting you through a microscope. And I also wondered, how did he fare here in the States living with her? And also, I believe they lived in Canada. Did they like it better being away from the royal family? How has it been since leaving the UK for Harry and Meghan and the children? Are they happier in a better space? So are they happy abroad? Do they want to go back? Does Mr. Harry miss his family? Role, titles, duties, the people? You know, this way of life is a little bit different here, but many people have fared better here in the United States because we have, you know, more freedom to roam here in the States. People tend to do what they want, be who they want to be, no matter where they came from. A lot of questions. I will drop some more polls for you all to take. But I thank you all for joining me. Have a wonderful week. If you'd like to donate to this great network, Everyday Shenanigans, $ Big Angie, 129 Cash App, like, share, subscribe. As I said, please leave your commentary below the video. And please feel free to go to my commentary channel, my network over there. Postings of videos, breaking news, polls. Please feel free to check out those said breaking news videos. And I also have under 2,000 videos in my library total for being on this network. Thank you so much. This is Everyday Shenanigans.